Hi, I'm Victoria Fritz in the business news. Lloyds Banking Group has sold more than a third of its TSB business in a stock market listing today. The shares were initially priced at £2.60 each, more than originally anticipated after strong investor demand. That price has risen, though, in conditional trade. Taking the fight to the discounters, Sainsbury's brings Netto back to Britain in a new joint venture. There will be 15 stores across the north of England to start with. The UK discount sector is currently worth £10 billion a year in sales, but it's forecast to double in value to £20 billion in the next 5 years. And Debenhams will open Sports Direct and Costa Coffee concessions in some of its branches this summer. The department store, which recently announced a 0.7% rise in sales, also said it was in discussion with a number of other brands. Good morning to you. We start with TSB. That's the bank that was carved out of Lloyds back in September of last year, because Lloyds Banking Group has increased the number of TSB shares it's selling as a result of strong investor demand. It was in fact 10 times oversubscribed. Shares had been valued at £2.60 each. That means that the bank now has a market value of £1.3 billion. The bank does have ambitious plans to expand its balance sheet by up to 50% in the next 5 years, which would help it achieve higher returns. It's also set to invest £250 million by opening more branches, training up new staff and on new banking products. But some analysts are concerned about its reliance on its mortgage business at a time when the government is introducing measures to cool the housing market amid criticisms of a bubble.
What we're worried about, everybody seems to be thinking that this is a really simple company and there's no casino banking, there's no investment banking. But let's not forget, the Northern Rock and HBOS were exactly the same. They were focused on mortgages. And so people are buying into a mortgage bank here. Nearly 90% of revenues from TSB are going to come from mortgages. 2/3 of those are variable rate mortgages, which are likely to be moved up for the interest rates. So we've got to really understand the quality of these mortgages and the quality of the people that have those mortgages. And that's something that lots of people are overlooking, we think.
That's Nick Hungerford there. Now, tentative signs of a recovery in Europe mean that Vauxhall, the largest manufacturer of vans in the UK, is now able to launch a new model. About 50% of their vans are exported to Europe. The chairman is seeing a pickup in investment from his clients as economies outside of the UK improve. But he says the rising price of oil is clearly a threat.
The big political scene has got some areas of worry. You've mentioned Iraq. A couple of months ago we were talking about Russia and Ukraine. I mean, the news agenda moves on. So there is uncertainty out there, and oil price, petrol price, diesel price at the pump is clearly an issue. I mean, the way we are trying to contend with that is coming up with a vehicle that is very much more fuel efficient than its predecessor. And that's the way we have to react. I don't think a business like ours can spend too much time worrying about things outside of our control. And I'm sure that's the case for many businesses in the UK and indeed Europe.
Now, for all of you out there who are coming to the end of your GCSE and A-level exams and are wondering what to do next, here's some inspiration. Samira Hussain has been meeting some New Yorkers who are hoping to make it big, not in the banks of Wall Street, but in the world of technology, by becoming coders. It's an area that many say will give rise to the world's next generation of billionaires.
It's a hot Sunday afternoon in New York. Instead of enjoying the sun, these girls are spending their entire weekend by the glare of their computer screens.
I'm ready to practice.
This is a hackathon, a competition where students use code to build a computer program.
So we really thought of an app called Counseling Kiosk.
12-year-old Nia Johnson and her team wrote the computer language that makes this program work.
Coding is very interesting because some people have a love for different languages. Coding is like my different language. So people may be French and then they may like to speak Spanish. I'm English and I love coding. It's kind of something different that not a lot of people get the chance to learn about, but I'm great that I do.
Often people come here to Wall Street to make their fortune. Increasingly though, many are making it big with this, through apps and other digital tools. Now, some believe that technology is the best new path to prosperity in America.
This country is about, equal opportunity, not equal outcomes, obviously, but as long as everyone has a chance. And in technology, if you know how to code, if you master the arts of programming, you can make a fortune. It could be $1 billion fortune, it could be a couple $100 million, it could be 10 million. But it's probably your fastest route to wealth and your best route to wealth if you consider yourself somewhat disadvantaged from the beginning.
Nurturing Nia's passion is not easy. It's more than an hour's drive to get to any coding events, but it's a sacrifice her mom is willing to make.
At this age, there were no other programs that I knew that gave her the opportunity to even learn, unless she did it on her own. But it's best that she's in a classroom setting. She's with people who do this every day. This is their profession and people who have a passion for it. I think it does give an advantage, and it kind of shortens that gap just a little bit.
It's that inequality gap that has many worrying about America's future. But not Nia. She's got a possible $1 billion ticket in her back pocket. She can code. Samira Hussein, BBC News, New York.
Let's check in with the market, see what's going on at the moment, because shares in Shire, they're doing very well this morning after the pharmaceutical firm in America have confirmed that they've made a takeover bid for the British company. They're up almost, 10.5% at the moment. Tesco shares have been falling today on news of Sainsbury's joint venture to bring back Netto. Oil prices are coming down slightly. They hit $115 a barrel yesterday, and shares in TSB in conditional trade to institutional investors this morning have risen to £2.90 after starting at £2.60. That's it from me. I'll be back after the 1 o'clock news. I'll see you then.